For the longest time, what we've called artificial intelligence has really just been an incredibly sophisticated pattern spotter. But what if AI could actually understand why things happen? Today, we're diving into this giant leap that AI is taking, moving from just seeing correlations to actually understanding cause and effect. And trust me, this changes everything.
All right, let's start with a classic puzzle. I'm sure you've heard this one. In the summer, two things happen. Ice cream sales go way up, and so do shark attacks. So what's going on here? Does eating a scoop of mint chocolate chips somehow make you shark bait? Or, I don't know, does surviving a shark attack give you a sudden craving for a waffle cone? Of course not, right? There's a hidden factor, a common cause, the hot weather that's driving both.
And believe it or not, that simple little riddle, it gets right to the heart of one of the biggest, most critical challenges facing AI today. See, if we want an AI that's genuinely intelligent, something we can actually trust, it has to be able to tell the difference between a simple, meaningless correlation and the real reason, the why, behind what's happening.
Okay, so we've all heard that phrase a million times, right? Correlation isn't causation. But honestly, that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's just the starting line. To build a truly smart AI, we have to go way beyond that catchphrase and actually understand what causality is. And that, well, that's a question people have been wrestling with for literally centuries. Yeah, this is not some new tech problem. It's a timeless human quest for why that goes back millennia. I mean, you've got ancient Greek philosophers like Plato and Aristotle trying to nail down what a cause even is. Then fast forward to Enlightenment thinkers who started wondering if we could ever truly see it at all. And this philosophical quest continued all the way to the modern era, when a computer scientist named Judea Pearl came along, and incredibly gave us the actual mathematical tools to teach this very concept to a machine.
So, here's the absolute key takeaway. Causality isn't just about two things happening at the same time. Not at all. It's about one thing actively bringing about the other. It's a direct, influential link, and that's the foundational idea we really need to get our heads around.
So how in the world is AI learning to think like this? Well, to understand it, there's this absolutely brilliant metaphor that was developed for this exact problem. It's called the causal ladder. This idea comes from Judea Pearl, the same guy we just mentioned. He proposed thinking about it as a three-rung ladder. Each rung you climb represents a much deeper, more sophisticated level of causal thinking. And here's the thing. Right now, most AI is kind of stuck on the bottom rung. The whole race in the field is about figuring out how to climb to the very top. So what are these three rungs? They are seeing, doing, and imagining. A really simple way to think about it is it's the difference between just noticing a pattern, then actively testing a theory, and finally, being able to ask, what if? So let's break down what each of those really means. All right, so rung one is association, or seeing. This is where pretty much all of traditional machine learning has been living for years. And it's amazing at what it does. It can look at these insane amounts of data and say, hey, look, X and Y seem to happen together a lot. This is our ice cream and shark attacks level, right? It sees the pattern, but it has absolutely no clue about the why behind it. Now, climbing up to rung two, this is a huge leap. This is intervention, or doing. You can think of this as the level of a scientific experiment. So instead of just passively watching, we start asking, what happens if I actually do something? What if I intervene? If we actually banned ice cream sales for a week, would shark attacks go down? By taking an action, we can start to test for a real, genuine causal link. And that brings us to the very top of the ladder, rung three, counterfactuals. This is all about imagining. This is that uniquely human ability to look back and wonder. To ask questions like, okay, the patient took the drug and got better, but what would have happened if they hadn't taken it? This kind of what-if thinking about the past is the absolute key to planning for the future, to learning from our mistakes, to, true understanding. So the big question is, how do we actually get an AI to climb this ladder? Well, that is the entire mission of a really revolutionary field called causal AI. And it's so much more than just a new technique. It's a totally fundamental shift in how we even think about building intelligent machines.
And this comparison really lays out the difference perfectly. On one hand, you've got traditional machine learning. It's basically a prediction machine. It's a black box that's amazing at finding correlations in data, but it can be fooled pretty easily. Causal AI, on the other hand, is trying to do something much deeper. It aims to build a model of how the world actually works. So it's not just about predicting what will happen, it's about explaining why it will happen.
And the payoff for this shift? It's absolutely enormous. Suddenly, we can build systems that aren't just black boxes. They can actually explain their decisions to us. They're more robust, meaning they don't just fall apart when the data looks a little different. And maybe most importantly, they give us control, the power to reason about the effects of our actions before we ever take them. That's a game changer.
And look, this isn't just some abstract academic idea. Not at all. This shift towards causal thinking is already making a huge impact out there in the real world, across tons of different fields.
Just take medicine, for example. A causal approach helps us move beyond just noticing a correlation, like, hey, patients who took this drug tended to get better. It helps us prove causation, to say with confidence, this drug caused the recovery. This is literally the engine that's driving personalized medicine, figuring out not just what treatments work in general, but what specific treatment is going to work best for you.
Or think about economics and public policy. A government might ask, did our new jobs program actually reduce unemployment? Or was that just part of a bigger economic trend that was happening anyway? A causal model can help cut through all that noise and get to the real answer. And that is absolutely crucial for designing policies that actually, work.
And yeah, it's showing up in the technology we all use every single day. Just imagine a recommendation engine that doesn't just say, oh, people who bought this also bought that. Imagine one that actually understands why you might like something. Or think about a robot that can truly reason about the consequences of its actions when it's in a brand new situation. This is the kind of stuff that causality unlocks.
But we have to be realistic here. There's still a pretty big gap between an AI's cold, statistical understanding and our own rich, messy, intuitive common sense. I mean, we humans can reason about things we've never, ever seen before. And for AI, well, that right there is still the final frontier.
So really, that's the ultimate goal, isn't it? To close that gap. Because the real question, the one that really matters, isn't just about building smarter machines. It's about what becomes possible when our technology finally moves beyond just predicting the world to truly understanding it. I mean, what kinds of problems could we solve then?